Let me ask you this. When was the last time you genuinely focused on yourself? Not on what others are doing, not on their opinions, their success, or their approval. Just you, your development, your dreams, your peace. Most people spend their lives looking outward, comparing, explaining, proving, and chasing. But what if I told you that everything changes the moment you halt? What if the real breakthrough comes when you shift your focus inward and stay quiet? Remain with me until the end of this video and you'll discover why focusing on yourself is the most powerful decision you will ever make. Why most people stay stuck. The truth is, most people are trapped in a cycle. They wake up, scroll through their phones, and instantly measure their lives against others. They overthink every action, worrying about what people might say. They feel the need to explain themselves, to prove they are worthy, to defend their choices, and in doing so, they waste precious energy that could be used for self-growth. Why do people do this? Because deep down, they are programmed to seek acceptance. Human psychology tells us that from an early age, we learn to measure ourselves based on others. We want approval, we want recognition, we want to be liked. But here's the harsh truth. Seeking external validation is the fastest way to lose yourself. The more you focus on others, the less you focus on your own power, and the less you focus on yourself, the further you will drift from the life you are meant to live. The power of silence and self-focus. Imagine this. You walk into a room and instead of trying to impress anyone, you observe, you listen, you stay calm, you focus on your energy. What happens? You command attention without saying a word because confidence isn't loud, it's quiet. Power isn't in words, it's in presence. When you stop talking and start doing, people notice. When you stop explaining and start growing, the world reacts. But here's the secret. You don't need their reaction. You don't need their approval. The moment you stop seeking it, you become unstoppable. Silence forces people to wonder. It makes them curious. It shifts their focus to you, even when you're not trying. And most importantly, it allows you to hear the only voice that truly matters, your own. Why most people can't handle it? Let me warn you, when you start focusing on yourself and staying silent, people won't understand. Some will say you've changed, some will think you're distant, some will even try to pull you back into old habits. That's because most people fear growth. When they see you evolving, they feel left behind. But here's what you must remember. You owe no one an explanation, you owe no one your energy. You are not responsible for their comfort. Your only responsibility is to yourself. To grow, to evolve, to become who you were meant to be. Your reward for watching until the end. By the time you reach the end of this video, you will understand a truth that most people never realize. The greatest power you have is your ability to focus inward, to build in silence, to grow without permission. And when you do that, everything around you starts to shift. Most people don't even realize they're trapped. They wake up every day scrolling through other people's lives, drowning in noise, chasing approval that never truly satisfies. They are constantly looking outward. Who's watching? Who's judging? Who's ahead? Who's behind? But here's the harsh truth. The more you focus on others, the more you lose yourself. Distractions are everywhere. Social media, gossip, opinions, drama. It all pulls you in, keeping your mind occupied with things that don't help you grow. And the worst part, it feels normal. It feels like you're just keeping up with the world. But in reality, you are wasting the most valuable thing you have, your focus. Your energy is like currency. Every thought you give to someone else is energy taken away from yourself. Every second spent worrying about what others are doing is a second lost in building your own success. And most people don't even realize they are bleeding energy into things that don't serve them. Why people chase distractions? Human psychology is wired for connection. From childhood, people are taught to fit in, to be accepted, to be part of the group. That's why it feels natural to focus on what others think. It's why people crave attention, why they overshare, why they constantly seek validation. But here's what most people don't understand. Every time you explain yourself to someone who doesn't care, you give away power. Every time you react to negativity, you let someone else control your emotions. Every time you compare your journey to someone else's, you tell yourself that your own path isn't enough. And this is how people stay stuck. Not because they lack potential, not because they aren't capable, but because they are pouring their energy into everything except themselves. How to break free from the distraction trap. The first step to reclaiming your power is awareness. You must recognize what is stealing your focus. Look at your daily habits. How much time do you spend checking your phone? How often do you get caught in meaningless conversations? How many times do you feel the urge to prove something to someone else? Once you see the distractions for what they are, time wasters, energy drainers, confidence killers, you can start cutting them out. You don't owe anyone your attention. You don't have to explain your choices. The moment you choose to disengage from the noise, you take back control. Here's the truth. The most successful people in the world are not the loudest. They are the most focused. They are not chasing approval. They are chasing purpose. And that requires silence. That requires discipline. That requires stepping away from the distractions and turning all that energy inward. The psychological shift that changes everything. When you stop reacting to every little thing, something incredible happens. Your mind clears. Your energy shifts. You stop feeling drained because you are no longer giving away your power to meaningless things. And people notice. They sense your shift. They feel your detachment. Suddenly, the ones who used to control you with their opinions start to wonder why you're so unbothered. The ones who expected a reaction from you are left in silence. And silence is powerful because when you no longer seek validation, you become untouchable. You don't need to announce your growth. You don't need to explain your silence. True power is moving in a way that speaks for itself. And the moment you break free from distractions and turn your focus inward, life starts to move in your favor. You stop chasing, and opportunities start chasing you. You stop explaining, and people start respecting you. You stop reacting, and suddenly you hold all the power. Not everyone deserves access to you. Not everyone deserves to know your thoughts, your plans, your struggles, or your victories. The truth is, the more you protect your energy, the more powerful you become. Most people give away their energy without even realizing it. They engage in arguments that don't matter. They waste time explaining themselves to people who don't care. They allow negativity to enter their minds and drain their focus. And by doing this, they lose control over their own lives. But here's something to think about. If you woke up every morning with a limited amount of money in your bank account, would you waste it on things that don't serve you? No. You would invest it wisely. You would protect it. You would make sure it grows. Your energy works the same way. Every morning you wake up with a limited amount of focus, motivation, and emotional strength. And every conversation, every reaction, every distraction takes a piece of that energy. The question is, are you spending it wisely? Why some people drain your energy. Some people thrive on attention. They want to pull you into their drama. They want your reaction. They want your time because they have nothing meaningful in their own lives. And if you're not careful, these people will drain you without you even noticing. There are people who only call when they need something. People who only show up when they want gossip. People who get uncomfortable when they see you growing. These people will question your silence. They will try to pull you back into old patterns, but that's not your problem. It's human nature to crave connection, but not every connection is good for you. Some connections slow you down, some weaken you, some destroy your peace. And the moment you realize this, everything changes. How to protect your energy and stay unshaken. The most powerful thing you can do is become selective with your energy. Not everyone deserves a response. Not every situation needs your reaction. Not every opinion requires your attention. You have to train yourself to walk away, to stop explaining, to stop justifying, to stop trying to prove yourself to people who will never understand your path. Because when you do this, you take back your power. Here's how you do it. Establish clear boundaries. If a conversation drains you, leave it. If a person disrespects your peace, remove them. You don't have to tolerate what doesn't serve you. Practice silence. The less you say, the more people wonder. The less you react, the more control you have. Power is in restraint, not in excessive explanation. Stay focused on yourself. Every second spent on someone else's negativity is a second lost from your own progress. Keep your energy where it matters, on your growth, your goals, your peace. What happens when you stop wasting energy? When you stop wasting your energy on meaningless things, life rewards you. You gain mental clarity. You move with confidence. You stop feeling exhausted because your energy is no longer being drained by things that don't matter. and people feel it. They see your shift. The ones who used to control your emotions will notice that they no longer have power over you. The ones who expected you to react will be met with silence, and silence is louder than words. The greatest form of power is not proving yourself. It's not arguing. It's not seeking validation. It's focusing on yourself so deeply that nothing external can shake you. When you reach this level, everything changes. You no longer chase, but you attract. You no longer react, but you observe. You no longer explain, but you show through action. Emotional detachment is not about becoming cold. It's not about shutting people out or living without feeling. It's about mastering control over your own emotions so that nothing and no one can shake your peace. Most people suffer because they are too attached to opinions, to expectations, to outcomes, to people who do not value them. They let the smallest things ruin their mood. A negative comment, a delayed response, a missed opportunity. It all affects them deeply because they are too emotionally invested in things beyond their control. But here's the truth. The more attached you are, the more you suffer. The more you react, the weaker you become. The more you depend on external validation, the more you give away your power. And this is why so many people stay stuck. They are too connected to things that drain them instead of focusing on things that build them. Why detachment is the key to freedom. Detachment is not about not caring. It's about caring differently. It's about shifting your energy from things you cannot control to things that truly matter. It's about understanding that your peace is your responsibility, not something to be given away carelessly. Think about this. When you give someone the power to control your emotions, you hand them control over your life. When someone can make you angry with a few words, they own you. When someone's opinion can make you doubt yourself, they control you. But when you detach, when you stop giving away that power, you become unstoppable. Detachment allows you to stay calm in chaos. No matter what happens around you, you remain centered. Protect your energy. You no longer waste time on things that don't serve you. Make better decisions. When emotions don't cloud your judgment, you think clearly. This is why the strongest people in the world practice detachment. They don't react. They don't chase. They don't beg. They stay in control always. How to develop emotional detachment? Detachment is a skill. It's something you build over time through discipline and awareness. And once you master it, life changes in ways you never imagined. Here's how you do it. Stop explaining yourself. The more you explain, the more people feel entitled to your energy. Let your actions speak. Let go of expectations. Not everyone will understand you. Not everyone will support you. And that's okay. You don't need permission to grow. Control your reactions. Every time you react emotionally, you give power to someone else. Learn to pause. Learn to breathe. Learn to respond, not react. Stay in your lane. Focus on your goals. Stop worrying about what others are doing. The more attention you give to your path, the faster you move forward. What happens when you detach? When you detach, something incredible happens. People start to notice your shift. The ones who used to control your emotions no longer have power over you. The ones who expected you to react are met with silence. The ones who doubted you are forced to watch you rise. And here's the best part. When you stop chasing, you start attracting. When you stop reacting, you start winning. When you stop seeking validation, you start feeling truly free. Detachment is not about running away from life. It's about living life on your own terms. It's about being so focused on your own peace, your own growth, your own success, that nothing external can disturb you. There is a reason the most powerful people in the world do not speak unless necessary. They understand that silence is not emptiness, it is control. It is a shield that protects your energy and a weapon that shifts the power in any situation. Most people talk too much. They feel the need to explain, to justify, to prove themselves to people who don't even care. They respond to every insult. They engage in arguments that drain them. They react emotionally to every situation. And by doing this, they give away their strength. But the moment you choose silence, everything changes. You no longer react to things that don't deserve your energy. You stop explaining yourself to people who have already made up their minds. You let your actions speak so loudly that words become unnecessary. Silence is misunderstood. Weak people think silence means surrender. They assume that if you don't react, you have lost. But strong people know the truth. Silence is a strategy. It makes people wonder. It makes them uncomfortable. It forces them to deal with their own thoughts instead of distracting themselves with your reactions. Why you must stop explaining yourself. Not everyone deserves an explanation. Not everyone needs to understand your choices. And most importantly, not everyone is capable of seeing your vision. When you constantly explain yourself, you are looking for approval. You are seeking validation. And the moment you seek validation, you give power to someone else. But here's the truth. Most people don't even care. They are too wrapped up in their own world to truly understand yours. So why waste your breath? You do not owe anyone an explanation for your goals. Your vision is yours alone. No one else needs to believe in it. Your growth, outgrowing people, habits, or environments is natural. You don't have to justify it. Your boundaries, if something drains you, you have the right to walk away. No explanation needed. When you stop explaining yourself, you take back your power. You move in silence. You make decisions without seeking permission. You become untouchable. How to use silence as a power move. Silence is not just the absence of words, it is the presence of discipline. It is a conscious choice to stay in control instead of reacting emotionally. And when you learn how to use it, you become unstoppable. Here's how to make silence your greatest weapon. Pause before reacting. When someone tries to trigger you, don't give them what they want. Breathe. Stay calm. Let them deal with their own emotions. Let people wonder. The less you say, the more they think. The more they think, the more they respect your presence. Observe more. Speak less. Pay attention to how people act, not just what they say. Words can lie, but actions always reveal the truth. Walk away from unnecessary conversations. Not everything needs a response. Not everyone deserves a reaction. Choose where to place your energy. What happens when you stay silent? When you embrace silence, something powerful happens. People start to notice your shift. They become curious about what you're thinking. They realize they no longer have access to your emotions. The ones who used to manipulate you with words will struggle because they can no longer control your reactions. The ones who used to drain your energy will feel powerless because you no longer feed their negativity. And most importantly, you will feel a deep sense of peace. You will no longer feel the need to prove yourself. You will stop over-explaining, over-apologizing, overthinking. Instead, you will move with confidence, knowing that your silence speaks volumes. Nothing confuses people more than your silence. Nothing disturbs them more than your decision to walk away without explanation. People expect a reaction. They want you to argue, to defend yourself, to fight for their approval. But the moment you choose silence and distance, you shift the power. Walking away is not weakness, it is strength. It means you value your peace more than someone else's chaos. It means you refuse to participate in battles that drain you. It means you understand your worth and will not stay where you are not valued. Most people stay too long in situations that hurt them. They beg for respect. They explain their boundaries. They give second chances, third chances, endless chances. And in doing so, they teach others that their time and energy are disposable. But when you walk away without a word, you send a message. You show that you are not desperate for anyone's validation. You prove that your self-respect is stronger than your attachment. And that is what makes people regret losing you. Why people struggle to let go. Letting go is hard, not because you need the person, but because of the emotional investment you've made. You hold on to memories. You hold on to what you thought things could be. You replay conversations in your head, trying to make sense of what went wrong. But here's what you need to understand. Holding on to the past only keeps you stuck. The more you dwell on what could have been, the more power you give away. And the more power you give away, the harder it becomes to move forward. The truth is, people show you who they are through their actions. And when someone disrespects you, ignores you, or takes you for granted, they have already made their choice. It's your turn to make yours. Will you keep holding on, hoping they will change, or will you walk away and choose yourself? how walking away shifts the power. Most people believe that confronting someone is the strongest move. They think explaining, debating, and proving a point will create change. But real power is in your ability to leave without a fight. Walking away protects your dignity. You don't beg for respect, you show it to yourself. Shocks those who took you for granted. When they realize you are truly gone, they start to see your value. Gives you emotional freedom. No longer tied to toxic cycles, you find peace. Reclaims your power. You shift your focus from them to yourself. People notice when you disappear. They feel the absence of your energy. They realize the value you brought to their life, and by the time they do, you've already moved on. How to walk away without looking back. Detachment is a process. It requires discipline. It requires the strength to put yourself first, even when emotions try to pull you back. Here's how to master it. Stop seeking closure. The closure you need is realizing that someone's actions were the answer all along. Remove all access. No texts, no calls, no social media stalking. The less you know, the easier it is to move forward. Redirect your focus. Pour your energy into growth, success, and self-improvement. Let your progress be your response. Remind yourself of your worth. When you truly value yourself, you don't settle for less than you deserve. Walking away is not about proving a point to them. It's about proving something to yourself. It's about choosing peace over drama. It's about choosing yourself over situations that no longer serve you. And when you do, life rewards you. New opportunities come. The right people enter. Your mind becomes clearer. Your energy becomes lighter. Silence is not emptiness. It is a statement, a powerful, undeniable presence that speaks louder than any words ever could. Most people misunderstand silence. They think it's weakness. They assume it means you have nothing to say, that you've given up, that you're defeated. But in reality, silence is a weapon, a shield, a form of control that shifts the energy in any situation. People expect reactions. They expect explanations, justifications, and emotional outbursts. But when you remain silent, you break the cycle. You deny them the satisfaction of controlling your emotions. You stop playing the game they set up for you. When you respond, when you argue, when you try to make someone understand your point of view, you give them power. You let them dictate your energy. But when you say nothing, you force them to sit with their own words and actions. And that silence, it's uncomfortable for them. It makes them question everything. Why silence holds so much power. There's a reason why the most confident, successful, and emotionally intelligent people in the world understand the value of silence. Because silence keeps people guessing. It makes them wonder what you're thinking. It creates an air of mystery that makes you unpredictable. When you stop explaining yourself, people don't know what to expect from you anymore. And when they don't know what to expect, they can no longer control you. Silence makes people uncomfortable because it forces them to reflect. It forces them to confront their own thoughts without your influence. And that's when the shift happens. They start questioning themselves. They replay past conversations, trying to figure out what went wrong. They begin to feel the weight of their own actions. And suddenly, the power that once rested in their hands, it's now in yours. How silence protects your energy. The world is full of distractions, full of noise, full of people who want to pull you into their chaos, into their drama, into their negativity. But when you master silence, you protect yourself. Silence shields you from unnecessary conflict. Not every battle is worth fighting. Not every argument deserves your attention. Silence saves you from regret. When emotions are high, words can be weapons, and once spoken, they can't be taken back. Silence gives you control over your emotions. You stop reacting. You start responding with intention. Silence forces people to respect you. When you don't explain yourself, people start respecting your boundaries. When you go silent, when you detach, when you stop seeking validation from others, you become untouchable. No one can manipulate you. No one can bait you into their negativity. The discipline of staying silent. Silence requires discipline. It's not easy to hold back when you want to defend yourself. It's not easy to stay quiet when someone is provoking you. But when you do, you win. When someone disrespects you, let them. When someone underestimates you, let them. When someone spreads lies about you, let them. Let them think what they want. Let them say what they want. Your silence is your power. You don't owe anyone an explanation. You don't need to prove anything to anyone. The moment you stop reacting, you start winning, because the people who truly know your worth, they don't need explanations, and the people who don't, they don't deserve one. Most people think they need to speak up to be heard. They believe that the louder they are, the more respect they will get. But true respect isn't demanded, it's commanded. And silence commands it more powerfully than words ever could. When you stop reacting, people start paying attention. They start wondering what's going on in your mind. They become aware of your presence in a way they never did before. They start to feel your energy, your confidence, your control. And that's when something changes. They begin to respect you, not because you forced them to, not because you demanded it, but because your silence made them reconsider how they treat you. Think about the most powerful people in any room. They don't rush to speak. They don't argue over small things. They observe. They listen. And when they do speak, every word carries weight. Why people struggle with silence? Most people fear silence because they can't control it. They use words as a way to fill the emptiness, to justify themselves, to seek validation. But that constant need to explain, to prove, to defend, it's a weakness. Silence, on the other hand, is strength. It shows that you are secure in yourself, that you don't need to explain, that you don't need to react. But society has conditioned people to believe that silence is awkward, that it's uncomfortable, that if you're not talking, something is wrong. This is why so many people struggle with it. They don't realize that silence is actually a tool, a weapon, a statement that cannot be misinterpreted. When you stay silent in situations where most people would explode, you show control. When you don't respond to provocation, you show discipline. When you choose not to waste energy on unnecessary conversations, you show intelligence. The power of saying nothing. People will test you. They will push your buttons. They will try to get a reaction out of you. And the moment you react, they win. But when you say nothing, when you don't engage, don't explain, don't justify, they lose control. Someone insults you. Stay silent. Someone tries to make you feel small. Stay silent. Someone spreads lies about you. Stay silent. Not because you are weak, not because you don't have anything to say, but because your silence forces them to face their own words. It forces them to sit with their own insecurities. It forces them to see that their power over you doesn't exist. And that realization, it's more powerful than any argument you could ever win.